Hey everyone, Kevin here, and welcome back to my channel. So I've got another bone to pick with the public school system. Yeah, shocking, I know. But I hate student teaching and the entire atmosphere surrounding it. As I've said before, and with what our podcast is literally based on, we have not only a clear retention crisis in education, but a recruitment one as well. Not only are teachers leaving in droves, but fewer and fewer are choosing to enter the profession every single year. Even those that go in now are fully planning to not make it a long term career choice. Now, I've talked at length why I left teaching and why others have as well, but I wanted to touch on why people aren't really coming in either, hence my earlier commentary on how I hate student teaching. But I bring it up because it is a major contributing factor to the system we have now, which is setting up new educators to fail. Every current and former teacher I know can relate their experiences with student teaching and why it's a poor system, even while knowing it's a necessary evil. We clearly need time to learn and practically apply all that idealized theory we gained in credentialing classes, so the active student teaching makes sense. It's just all the crap that comes with it doesn't make sense in the slightest. Most people outside of education don't realize that student teaching, by and large, is unpaid. Yes, what amounts to roughly 1,400 hours of work is literally free labor to school districts. Oh, yeah, and that's not including any night classes you may have during student teaching, supervision assignments, classwork, and state credentialing requirements on top of all of that. So realistically, that number of hours I just gave you is lowballing the time commitment to complete the final phase of a credentialing program. Plus, many states and their corresponding programs actively discourage you from having any other job during this time period at all. There are many who will actually drop you if you do that behind their back, which, as you can imagine, many have to in order to work additional hours and basically wear themselves out just to afford to eat ramen that week. What other job out there does this? I would love for someone to name any single one that does for such a length of time. Unpaid internships are generally short and to the point, but student teaching is essentially a year long endeavor, and like I said, is literally free labor. Many schools and their mentor teachers actively choose to accept student teachers in order to farm work onto them that they don't want to do. There are so many horror stories out there of student teachers being worked to the bone and being forced to do all of their mentor teachers' grades, paperwork, yard or cafeteria duty, and whatever else while they go home for the day. It's really exploitative and sours many people on the entire idea of teaching. My own partner burned out during student teaching, partly because of all this same stuff. I likewise had horrifically bad student teaching experiences, and in hindsight, that probably should have been an indication of where my career in the classroom was going to go after that point. But I stayed the course because I naively thought that it was just a bad fit, as so many gaslighting people love to say when teachers complain about their working conditions. But the point I'm trying to get at is that I think this is actually intentional. Student teaching, whether by design or not, is a de facto method to keep new teachers in a cycle of debt they can't get out of because we all know how full time teachers already don't make enough money in the first place and they end up taking decades to pay off their loans. Now, imagine having to work an entire year for free while still paying full tuition, not to mention needing to cover food, rent, gas, and whatever other expenses that pop up. Many student teachers are forced to stay at home, work back to back overnight shifts to pay bills even when they're told not to, and again, take out massive loans. You know what else this does too? It conditions newer teachers into normalizing burnout levels of work and stress and gets them used to being exploited by their administrators and the school system at large. This isn't really like a tinfoil hat moment either. This is the reality for most educators. So, as you can imagine, this is actively discouraging newer teachers from entering the profession and is why credentialing programs around the country are virtually empty. People are leaving and not coming in either. Sure, some places have internships or are looking into paying student teachers because they're finally realizing that this old exploitative system is no longer sucking in the wide eyed young teachers that it used to, but it's a pittance of pay at best. Instead of student teaching being an introductory into the act of physically teaching, it's instead an introductory into how bad the system is now. But that's all for today. Thanks for listening to my rambles, and please don't forget to click like and subscribe to see more of my content. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.